to talk about you and your remembrances of Palmyra and what has happened in your lifetime in Palmyra and so forth. That's what we're...
Yeah, there aren't many of us that live here all our lives, I guess.
Well, that's true. I'm finding that. In fact, today, everybody that I've talked with so far came in 1943 or 1953 or whatever. But you were born in Palmyra.
I was born here. I came in 1928.
Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. And you lived here all your life?
Yes,
You
I
raised
did.
a family here? And
Yeah, I lived on Oak Street, East Oak Street, when I was born.
wait.
Introduce it.
Okay, all right, then we'll start again and wait.
Shall I just stay?
Yeah.
Shall I stay here?
Well, we'll need you to, yeah, unless you want us to bring that back to you. Do you want to keep, you want us to keep it and we'll bring it back to you, or?
I'll stay here.
Okay, that's good.
I don't have anything.
Okay, if you don't, you're welcome. Like Charlotte said, this is fun listening to all this.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I learned a lot.
And pretty soon Martha Beard's gonna show up, so she'll be coming in too. Okay, so this is Charlotte Bowman. I have to introduce her. This is Charlotte Bowman, and she has lived here all her life because she was born in Palmyra. So we'll pick up on that.
Okay, I was born on East Oak Street in Palmyra. Trying to say my date.
Yeah, well,
in 1928.
1928.
From there, when I was in 4th grade, I moved up to West Main Street. And when I got married, I moved down to East Main Street.
So you lived the whole town?
Yes, I
That's
did,
great.
and now I live on East Cherry Street with my husband.
Okay, all right.
And I was just married September 11th, 63 years.
63 years, that's wonderful. And may I ask you which church you got married?
Yes, it was then the church on West Main Street, the Methodist.
Okay,
Well,
at that time-
EUB.
EUB at that time. We were
Yeah.
talking with Mr. Leonard earlier, who's with the ECC church.
Oh,
And the EUB church was there
first.
right, before, and that's
And
the
I
one
was
you were
married there.
Okay. I bet by Reverend Hollingsworth.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
The elder or the younger? Uh-oh, we gotta stop it.
The older. The younger. The younger.
The younger, okay, just, yeah, I'm sorry, Steve. I gotta figure out if this is somebody that's supposed to come in. Hello? Yes, dear, where are you? Well, don't worry about it. Don't rush. We're here when you... Don't worry about it. Don't rush. Okay? When you get into the library, just come to the back of the library. Okay? When you get to the library, come to the back of the library. Can you hear me? Okay. Don't rush.
Thanks.
Bye-bye. Bye. She's going to be late. That'll be great. Okay, I'm sorry. We'll just keep on going. Okay, so you were married in the EUB church up in the corner. All right, very good. What do you think was the most significant memory that you have of being born in Palmyra and raising a family in Palmyra?
I think the way that it has developed, of all the new homes and all the new schools, and the kids, when I went to school, I went on Railroad Street. That's
Okay.
where I went.
Okay.
That was the,
K through 12.
no. They built a new school. Well, I called it the new school on Cherry Street, West Cherry Street, later on.
Okay.
When we were in 1st, 2nd, and 3rd grade, we only went half days because that's when they were they had so many kids they didn't know where to go with us. And then that's when they built a new school on, I call it the new school.
Well, now it's the
Cherry
middle
Street.
school.
Yeah,
It's
the middle school.
Okay.
Right, right.
Okay. So for 3 years you could only go half days?
Yeah, that's what we did.
That's interesting.
1st,
Now I
2nd, and
never-
3rd grade. Yeah.
Oh, very interesting. Well, let me go back. You said you were born on East Oak Street.
Yes.
What was East Oak Street like when you were born?
That was about the last street that went east and west.
Okay.
Then
And
it
how
was-
far down was it that your house was?
Well, there was a Mrs. Slack, I think her name was, and Principal Hart's built on the corner of Grant Street. Is he on the corner of Grant? I don't know if that's Grant or was it. That's where he built.
Okay.
And his was one of the last homes there. And then in the back, my grandmother always said, don't you go back that way because that's the Gypsy Woods. And they had gypsies back there, so that scared us half to death. We didn't go back
That's a
there.
new story. I never heard that. The
Yeah, that
Gypsies
one.
of Palmyra.
Okay. Oh, yes. And that's what amazes me is the development of Palmyra.
Yes,
It is.
yeah, that's one.
That was something. I mean,
And what do you see positive about that development?
Mm-hmm.
Because some people might say, well, that's negative, but
well, we need new blood. We need more people to do things. I see it in the garden club. I mean,
that's the theme that we've been hearing today, is we need younger people
yes.
to help with the organizations that are in Palmyra
Right,
today so that we
exactly.
continue to grow and develop.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's
So,
important.
It is important. Very important.
Well, I heard that you were co-founder of the Garden Club, that Jenny
Yes.
Orsted called you and said, hey, let's get together and do
Well,
this.
We, Evelyn Jennings, Jenny and I belong to Hershey
Oh.
Horticulture Society, and Jenny said, you know, I think we should have, our Palmyra's big enough, let's have a garden club, she said. And Ev and I thought, oh, well, she'll forget it, because it's a lot of work, you know what that's like. But she didn't forget it, so we did it, and we're very glad we did.
Now, are you part of a national organization then, or
No,
just?
we are not, no,
Okay, so
we're not federalized.
Okay. Because I didn't realize the Hershey connection at first either.
Yeah, but they're not federalized, they're
Okay.
federated, I should say.
And we understand that the Garden Club is responsible for the current status of, or certain current state of the looks of the center of town.
We try,
That's
that's
wonderful.
hard work.
Well, it's tough.
It is tough. At one time, we had, could have had money from the government, that we could have put trees along Main Street, you know, that would have looked so much better.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't want them, because he said that most of those homes along Main Street are not, they're owned by, their tenant out, you know. And the people that live there, they don't want to rake the leaves, they don't want to do this, they don't want to do that. So that fell through, and that was a big project we could have done, and you know how much better that would have looked, because look at Annville, and look at even Lebanon, they looked at. There used to be a time when Palmyra was prettier, a nicer looking town than Hummelstown. Well, not anymore, I'm sorry to say.
Well-
The square was ours, we
Right.
think we got that organized.
Well, you did. It's beautiful.
And we do the beds here at the municipal building,
That's what she was
front
saying.
and back.
Talking about the square, now, since you grew up here, and we're here in very early days of this century, or the last century was, what was on the square then?
Let's see, the 5 and 10,
Okay, the 5 and 10.
Lee Brothers 5 and 10.
Okay.
It was a high, there were steps in the front, and I think the liquor store was there. And I think a Shutter's bar, a bar of some kind was there.
And then,
Then it was Bowman's Jewelry Store. John Bowman had a lovely jewelry store. Then it was a drugstore. I'll talk with my hands.
So, that's okay.
And then, of course, it was the Seltzer Theater. Then it was Ginder's Barber Shop. And I don't know that exactly. I know Guy Goodman was up there with a flower shop too then one time.
Oh, I forgot.
And so was R.B. Disney up there.
And what
With
did
the
he-
clothing.
Clothing? Oh, see, now that's a new one. A
Uh-huh.
lot of people are talking this year about what was where, you know, so that's why I asked you that question. That's interesting.
And the Seltzer Theater, I remember this, every Thursday night, we used to have dish night. And my mother and my grandmother always went. They got the full sets of dishes.
Oh, no, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
That's
It
interesting.
was so cheap, you know. You could go to the drugstore and sit there and watch the people go in and out. They had windows, and you could go in from the drugstore to the theater, which was nice too.
So they would go to the movies every Thursday night and then get a free dish. Oh, that's neat.
Yeah.
Well, then what happened on Saturdays? Remember?
Oh, well, Friday nights was like Rinny Tin Tin and all the cereals like that, you know.
Oh, okay.
They had those, and we used to, well, not movies. I mean, that was either the radio or movies, that's all there was. Well, then back, they had the, what was that called? It was a beer joint, where they called, didn't anybody tell you about that one? What was the name?
Well, there was, people talk about the, I think of it, nightclub. Now where was
Yes,
that?
the nightclub.
The nightclub.
Was
And that
right
be-
behind.
Behind, so that
Behind.
wasn't on the square where Lee Brothers was, that was
No,
behind.
it was behind Lee Brothers. It
Oh,
was,
okay.
oh, I can't even think of the name, I should have, no, it was, we have it in the garden club as one of the entries. I'll think of it, but anyway,
Well, and that's the building that burned down then.
yes, later on there was a garage in it. Hammer had a garage in it. His wife was at Fox, she was a teacher back at school in Vermont, you probably don't know.
Mrs. Hammer?
Mrs.
Oh, I
Hammer.
remember
Do you
Mrs.
Mrs.
She,
Hammer?
oh, right, she taught second grade.
Yeah, you're
Yes.
right, right.
Okay, and he had a
okay.
garage in there?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
well, gas station like, yeah. And, yeah, that was in there, and I don't know what else was in there, I don't remember what else was
So
in there.
then when, right on the corner where Lee's was, when that was taken down, why was that building taken down? Do you remember?
Well, that's when they built NK, when NK went in there. And,
Okay, so they bought that and
Hollowell.
Tore it down and moved back?
Well, the beer joint, that was built then later on too. There's a beer joint back in there. I don't know what that one's called, and there's something else back in there now too.
Yeah.
But this, first time it burned down, I guess, that's what happened.
Oh, the Lee's burned down?
No,
Oh,
behind.
Yeah,
this,
the nightclub. I
Yeah.
understand that, yeah. But- Well, it wasn't a nightclub then, but whatever it was.
yeah. Well, yeah, right.
Okay, all right.
I
Well,
think,
now, what, go ahead.
I was gonna say there was a shoe place behind there, a small shoe place, Denunzio, I think.
Okay, the shoe repair man.
Shoe repair. And then across the street behind the bank was a, Fry and Ober, I think, had, some sort of a business over there, and there was a beauty parlor over there before the post office was built then, I remember.
Where was the post office before?
The post office was on Main Street, West Main Street. It was what's the Fulton Bank now, which was London Valley National Bank. And then it was Bill Bowman's home. Bill Bowman.
Oh, okay.
And then it was the post office.
And then the post office became Eddie Hostetter and Keeney's, right?
Yes, and then there was a Schmick's ice cream place at the alley there.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And you got, the ice cream cones had 3 dips. You had
Those bigger cones. Those little, oh,
Yeah.
like the Neapolitan cone.
Yeah.
That's neat. I didn't hear that before. Oh, that's neat. Now, I think your husband was in the insurance business,
Yes,
right?
it was.
Stop for 1 second, I just need to change. Okay.
Okay. Now, your husband was in the insurance business in
Right.
Palmyra. So do you want to talk about some of the businesses in Palmyra and how the insurance
Right.
business might have changed through the years?
My husband was in the real estate and insurance business.
Oh, okay.
He was in with his dad. My husband was born in the bank building.
Oh, really?
Yes, upstairs. His grandfather was bank president.
And he lived upstairs.
Eugene Bowman was bank president. He lived upstairs, and his wife had died after my in-laws got married, and so they lived there. And then my husband was born there. Well, he was born in Hershey, but that's where they lived.
They lived up. Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
And yeah, and then when my father-in-law built, he built down on East Main Street,
Okay.
and then they had their office in the front of our house and sold real estate and insurance.
And that was what, about 500, no, what is it, 400 block?
500.
500 block of East
I
Main.
think it was 500, yeah, East Main, yeah.
Okay.
And it was a nice brick home. Now it's that motel, you know, it's gone. To by the wayside.
A lot of Main Street has changed. hasn't it?
Terrible, yes.
Well, were there a lot of insurance and real estate people? Who was it?
I think Herbs, Bill Herb
Okay.
was the only other, and his dad.
Wait a minute. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Sit down. Come on in. Calm down. Okay, sit down over there. Do you have a chair?
Yeah, there's
Do you have a chair? Okay, just sit down. We're talking to Charlotte now. So,
I'm sorry.
no, that's fine. Just sit down and relax. Okay, take deep breaths. Okay, so we were talking about the insurance. There were 2 real estate places in town.
Yes,
that's what you said.
Herbs, Bill Herb and his dad, and my husband, Dick, and Simon were in business together.
Okay, and if Palmyra grew, or sort of like a boom of building,
Yes.
they had a lot of business then through those years, like
Uh,
the 50s, 60s.
Well, yes, but a lot of people sold their own homes.
Oh,
Real estate,
really?
well, real estate wasn't, what Dick used to do is go to sales and buy homes and then he'd resell them,
Oh, that's interesting.
so.
Because that's what people are doing today, but I didn't realize they were sort of, what goes around comes around.
If he could get the money from the bank that maybe some other people couldn't get because they had bigger families or something, and then he just lended it to them and then they had to pay it back within a certain amount of time.
Oh,
So he helped a lot of people, and Simon, his father, helped an awful lot of people by giving money to people. So.
that's real.
And I lived in an apartment on top of my in-laws for 10 years. We won't go into that.
But not with them. You were
No,
just
I
about-
didn't. We had a beautiful apartment. My father-in-law had it decorated by Locke Brothers.
Sure.
Do you remember
Sure, I
that?
remember
So
that.
it was lovely. And then 10 years, I had my son, and then we moved on Cherry Street.
Right, I
That's
remember.
exactly where I live now.
That's where you are now on Cheese
Yes.
Cherry.
And
Okay.
I think I'm about ready to move out. Oh, on either side of me. Oh, you know, it isn't like it used to be.
Yeah.
That's the same part about it.
Yeah.
People just don't take care of their places.
That is a problem.
That is a problem.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yes.
Well, okay. Well, what do you think were the advantages that you had of growing up
Growing
and
up.
raising a family in Palmyra? What do you think Palmyra gave to your family?
Well, it gave us security, I think. I wasn't afraid to go out. We could walk out anytime you wanted to. You went to the movies, you walked home, you weren't scared. It just, well, it's a whole new ball game than what it is now. I thought the education was fine for my son. He could have went wherever he went. He went 2 years, junior college, so what are you gonna do? And,
But he was prepared for the further
well, yeah, he was
education.
prepared. He worked for Milton Hershey in the office.
Mhm.
And I have one grandson.
Mhm.
He just graduated from Penn State, so. And
Did he live in Palmyra? Did your grandchild?
My son lives in Palmyra, and and my grandson has an apartment now. He moved into an apartment in Hershey, so.
Oh, that's exciting. So you went through Palmyra, your son went through Palmyra, and your
Right.
grandson went through
And
Palmyra.
my son
so-
still lives here too.
So you saw a lot of changes in the
I sure did.
educational system in Palmyra. Yeah, that's great. And what do you feel now? Be honest with me, and don't be modest. But what do you feel that you have contributed to the history of Palmyra?
Well, probably the best thing was starting the garden club.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
what I think.
And they certainly have done a lot
We
of
have
wonderful
done
things
quite a
for
bit. We
Palmyra.
bought the flags, not the flags, the banners that we hang up. We bought those.
Okay,
So we have done a lot for the town. We try.
great.
We have sales. We always have a Yuletide sale, and we have a poinsettia sale, and we have a plant sale. And today we had a flower show. So I think we contribute
Definitely.
very, very nicely to the town.
And to the, as I said to Mrs. Horstick, it's, the contributions of the garden club are visible, but they're also spiritual, because when people see beauty, it becomes a spiritual thing. So,
At one time, the women's club was here.
Oh, that's right.
I hated to see them.
so you were active in the women's club as
Well,
well?
I was in the women's club. Yeah, I wouldn't say I was.
And what were the types of things the women's club did?
Well, they had mostly, I think it was entertainment. They had programs. We always had, every month you had a program. And they had, sewing. They used to have sewing contests. That was very nice. Forgot about that.
So they provided outlets for the members
Yes, and we gave bracelets to the high school kids.
the ones that were achieving.
Achieving, yes. that
I
was
probably got one of those bracelets.
Oh, did you
Yes,
really?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Now that you say that, it was a bracelet that I
Yes,
got
there
from
was a
them.
bracelet from the women's club.
Right.
I don't know if it was juniors or women's
Like-
club. There was a junior club. I first belonged to that. Then when you were 35, you had to go over into the senior club.
So it was through organizations like that that people were able to contribute back
Yeah.
to their the lifestyle of everyone.
Right.
But it's a shame that, like you said, there's no longer a women's club,
No,
and there's no
there
longer that opportunity.
I don't know how many men's club is there a Lions Club or
Well, I know the Camptowns Lions Club, I'm not really sure.
I think Rotary.
Rotary, I know, is in existence.
JC's, I don't
No, I don't think there are any JCs anymore.
I mean, I know when we first bought the decorations for the town, we helped with the JCs, to buy the decorations, so that was one of the first things we did. Now, of course, they've bought a lot of other things,
Right.
so.
Well, that's wonderful. Well, I appreciate this. Thank you very
Thank
much. Is there anything else that you want to share with?
Well,
Okay.
not that I think of right
Okay.
now,
Okay.
but, well, thank you for.
Very
for
good. Well,
your
thank you.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for
Okay.